The controversy between Yolanda and Melody has been one of the most talked about moments in Love and Marriage Huntsville, and it continues to stir strong opinions among fans. From the very beginning, this situation has been messy, complicated, and deeply personal. It is not just about what happened on screen, but also about the behavior, intentions, and relationships behind the scenes. At the heart of this issue is the question of whether Melody owes Stormy or anyone else an apology, and the way Yolanda has publicly positioned herself in this drama. Understanding this situation requires breaking down the key events, the personalities involved, and the ongoing tensions that have made this story so captivating. The drama begins with Yolanda's insistence that Melody owes Stormy an apology. According to Yolanda, there were multiple rounds of court battles and disputes, with each side claiming victories at different stages. Yolanda maintains that she won the first round, Melody took the second round, and the third round was considered a draw. From Yolanda's perspective, this is the timeline that justifies her current stance. However, this argument raises serious questions. Why would Melody, who has already faced hostility and attacks, be expected to apologize? The truth is, Melody was dragged into conflicts she never started. She maintained her composure while facing personal attacks, public judgment, and complicated legal battles. The expectation that she should apologize to Stormy, who was indirectly involved through her mother's behavior, seems misplaced and unfair. Stormy's mother, Miss Betty, plays a significant role in this controversy. Her actions on the show were aggressive, confrontational, and at times outright disrespectful. She directly targeted Melody, criticizing her behavior, questioning her character, and creating a hostile environment. This level of animosity from someone who was introduced as a friend of Melody's is confusing and alarming. Melody, on the other hand, remained calm and professional. She was patient in the face of insults, attacks, and manipulations. Even when Stormy herself was caught between her mother and Melody, trying to mediate or calm the situation, the tension remained. It became clear that Melody never did anything to provoke such behavior. Miss Betty's aggression was rooted in personal bias, long-held opinions about Melody, and possibly jealousy or resentment. Fans of Love and Marriage Huntsville witnessed this unfolding drama and quickly picked sides. Many defended Melody, pointing out that she had been through far more challenging situations, including the betrayal of her partner, threats to her health, and public humiliation. Melody's ability to maintain dignity under these circumstances earned her respect from viewers. Meanwhile, Miss Betty's behavior was widely criticized. People noticed that she had an intense dislike for Melody, which seemed disproportionate to any real conflict between them. This dislike became even more puzzling when considering that Melody had supported Stormy early on, helping her get opportunities on the show and even assisting with projects like a music video. Melody's actions demonstrated generosity and professionalism, while Miss Betty's attacks seemed rooted purely in personal hostility. Yolanda's argument that Melody owes Stormy an apology appears to ignore all of these complexities. Stormy herself had no personal conflicts with Melody at first, yet her mother's actions drew Melody into unnecessary conflict. Even when Stormy became more involved, the tension was largely fueled by her mother. The idea that Melody should apologize to Stormy undermines Melody's experiences and disregards the hostility she faced. It is important to remember that Melody had been targeted by other cast members as well, not just Miss Betty. Tisha and Wanda, among others, also contributed to the toxic environment, which only amplified the pressure and unfair treatment Melody endured. Considering all this, Melody's refusal to apologize is not only justified, it is an assertion of her dignity in the face of unreasonable demands. The behavior of Miss Betty is a key factor in understanding why Melody owes no apology. She came onto the show as an outsider with preconceived notions, personal grudges, and a willingness to attack Melody publicly. Her actions were aggressive and unprovoked. She insulted Melody, manipulated situations, and tried to pit other cast members against her. Even Stormy, who initially was portrayed as Melody's friend, found herself in a difficult position because of her mother's behavior. The attacks were relentless, humiliating, and deeply personal. Yet Melody never retaliated in kind. Instead, she chose to respond with restraint, patience, and professionalism. This contrast highlights why the expectation of an apology is not only unreasonable, it is unjust. Another layer to this controversy involves the legal battles and public commentary. Yolanda frequently references court outcomes, victories, and legal standings to justify her perspective. While legal disputes can validate claims or actions, they do not automatically dictate moral obligations in interpersonal relationships. Melody's victories in court, coupled with her composure and integrity, demonstrate that she acted responsibly and justly in her interactions. Yolanda's insistence that Melody owes someone an apology based on these circumstances seems to misrepresent reality. In truth, Melody has been subjected to hostility, manipulation, and personal attacks, yet she continues to handle herself with grace. Her example is a reminder that public perception and private actions can be very different, and that fairness is not always measured by popularity or influence. The way fans perceive these conflicts also highlights important themes about public behavior and accountability. Fans consistently note Melody's professionalism, her generosity toward others, and her resilience. Meanwhile, Miss Betty and other antagonists are often criticized for unnecessary aggression, manipulative tactics, and personal vendettas. This dynamic raises questions about the responsibilities of individuals who enter public spaces or reality television environments. Should personal grudges be aired publicly in ways that harm others? How should someone respond when targeted unfairly? Melody's approach serves as a model for navigating these challenges. She does not escalate conflict, she maintains composure, and she focuses on her own integrity rather than retaliating. One specific incident that fueled this controversy involves the so-called phone situation, where Melody accused Stormy of being indirectly involved in a scheme with another cast member. While this situation was complicated, it ultimately did not warrant an apology from Melody. The events were tangled, and the alleged involvement of Stormy was not clearly malicious. Melody's interpretation of the situation was reasonable given the context. Yet, Yolanda frames this as a reason for Melody to apologize, which further demonstrates a misunderstanding of the reality. Melody's position throughout the situation was cautious, respectful, and well-measured. Even in moments of potential miscommunication or misunderstanding, she prioritized professionalism and clarity. The concept of loyalty and friendship also plays a significant role in this story. Melody supported Stormy when she first entered the show, helping her with professional opportunities and guidance. Their early relationship demonstrated genuine cooperation and mutual benefit. However, the intrusion of Stormy's mother, along with other cast members who harbored negative feelings, disrupted this dynamic. It is clear that Melody acted in good faith, and any tensions that arose were largely due to external interference, not personal failings on her part. This reinforces the idea that Melody owes no apology. She did what she could to help and remained true to her character, even under scrutiny. Looking at the broader context, this controversy is not just about individual interactions, but also about public perception and fan engagement. Reality television amplifies conflicts, personalizes disputes, and encourages viewers to take sides. In this environment, even minor disagreements can become magnified, reputations can be questioned, and relationships can be strained. Melody's ability to maintain professionalism in this context is significant. While others may exploit drama for attention or validation, Melody's approach demonstrates self-respect and focus. Her refusal to apologize to Stormy is consistent with these principles and illustrates her commitment to fairness and integrity. Another important aspect is the generational dynamic at play. Miss Betty, as an older figure, brought long-standing opinions and strong biases to the show. Her hostility was deeply personal, rooted in experiences and perspectives that Melody could not control. In reality television, this type of generational clash can be especially destructive because younger cast members are forced to navigate both public scrutiny and private judgment. Melody's handling of this tension highlights her maturity and understanding of the environment. She did not retaliate, she did not escalate, and she did not compromise her dignity. Instead, she continued to engage with the show and her peers in a respectful, principled manner. Fans have consistently voiced their support for Melody, noting that she handled herself better than most in similar situations. Her composure, patience, and professionalism stand in stark contrast to the aggression, manipulation, and hostility demonstrated by others. Observers highlight that while other cast members, including Miss Betty, resorted to personal attacks, gossip, and unfair criticism, Melody remained consistent in her behavior. This consistency strengthens her credibility and reinforces why she owes no apology. Her actions were measured, fair, and justified. The controversy also raises questions about public accountability. Yolanda's insistence on an apology reflects a misunderstanding of responsibility. Accountability is important, but it must be rooted in fairness and truth. Melody was not responsible for Miss Betty's behavior, nor for the personal grievances of others. She was targeted unfairly, and her decisions reflected an effort to navigate this challenging environment responsibly. In contrast, Miss Betty's behavior, fueled by personal bias and hostility, created unnecessary conflict and tension. This discrepancy underscores the imbalance at the heart of the controversy. Melody's actions were fair, measured, and professional, while the demands for apologies stemmed from misplaced expectations. The interpersonal dynamics between Melody, Stormy, and other cast members also provide insight into the complexity of reality television relationships. Stormy herself may have had limited involvement in the conflict, but her mother's actions placed her in a difficult position. The pressure to navigate family loyalty, public perception, and personal relationships created a complicated scenario. Melody's ability to remain composed and professional in this environment demonstrates emotional intelligence and strategic thinking. Her refusal to apologize is not about being difficult. It is about maintaining her integrity and standing firm in the face of unreasonable demands. Adding to this, Melody's history on the show demonstrates resilience and consistency. She has faced legal disputes, personal attacks, and public scrutiny, yet she continues to maintain her character and professionalism. Her ability to handle these challenges without retaliating or compromising her integrity is a testament to her strength. It is important to recognize that the expectation of apology from her undermines this resilience and disregards the fairness of her actions. Melody's approach exemplifies how to navigate complex interpersonal dynamics while staying true to oneself. This controversy also reflects the broader patterns of reality television, where drama, conflict, and personal differences are amplified for entertainment purposes. Viewers are drawn to conflicts, but these conflicts often oversimplify the reality of relationships, intentions, and actions. In this case, Melody's refusal to apologize is a principled stance against unfair manipulation and undue pressure. She is navigating a high-pressure environment where reputations, personal histories, and public perception intersect. Her decision not to apologize is rooted in fairness, justice, and self-respect. P. Yolanda's persistence in demanding an apology raises additional questions about motives. Is the insistence about justice, or is it about personal bias, rivalry, or the desire for attention? The focus on forcing an apology, despite the lack of wrongdoing on Melody's part, suggests that other factors are at play. Reality television often blurs the line between personal grievance and public performance. In this context, Melody's stance is not just about refusing to apologize. It is about asserting her truth, protecting her integrity, and refusing to be manipulated by outside pressures. Moreover, Melody's interactions with other cast members further demonstrate her consistency and professionalism. Even when faced with hostility, she does not escalate conflicts unnecessarily. Her calm, rational approach contrasts with the aggressive, sometimes irrational behavior of others, particularly Miss Betty. This contrast underscores why the demand for an apology is unreasonable. Melody has maintained fairness, honesty, and integrity, while others have demonstrated bias, aggression, and manipulation. The audience response to this controversy is telling. Fans overwhelmingly support Melody, recognizing her composure, professionalism, and resilience. Many note that she has been unfairly targeted by people who have personal biases or ulterior motives. This fan support reinforces the idea that Melody's actions are appropriate, justified, and respectable. Her refusal to apologize is consistent with her behavior and demonstrates a commitment to fairness and truth. Looking at the broader context of Love and Marriage, Huntsville. This controversy is also a reflection of how reality television exposes personal relationships to public scrutiny. Cast members must navigate public judgment, interpersonal dynamics, and professional opportunities simultaneously. Melody's approach to these challenges demonstrates maturity, resilience, and strategic thinking. She remains focused on her goals, maintains her professionalism, and does not allow hostility to derail her. This approach is a model for navigating complex, high-pressure environments while staying true to oneself. Additionally, the legal battles, public commentary, and fan discussions highlight the importance of perspective. Melody's victories, restraint, and professionalism stand in contrast to the aggression, manipulation, and hostility displayed by others. The insistence on an apology overlooks these key differences and misrepresents the reality of the situation. Melody's behavior demonstrates fairness, integrity, and strength, while the demands placed upon her are rooted in bias, personal vendettas, and misplaced expectations.